Hey y'all, I'm Yasmine for those of you who don't know me, and I get the privilege of being on the Cone team. That's right, Cone in the house. Where you at? Let me know in the chat. Yes, Cone. And I am so excited to be at club with you tonight, and it is a special privilege that I get to share the talk with you. Hopefully you've had a ton of fun so far, because I know I'm geeked, okay, pumped up right now, and hopefully you feel that same excitement, that same enthusiasm, that same joy as we go into our talk. And before we get started, I have a question. How do you get up in the morning? Let me know in the comments. How do you get up? Do you get up by an alarm? Does somebody else wake you up? Do you just get up when you get up because it doesn't matter and you just like, whatever, I wake up when I wake up? Let me know in the comments now. As you're thinking about how you wake up, I want you to think about your children. How do you get your children up? And I'll tell you how I get my children up. When I have to wake them up, because let's be honest, kids get up before the sun gets up, okay? But there are times when I have to wake them up, and even my teenager. And the way I wake them up is that I walk into their rooms, I see their precious faces, and again, even my teenager, and I walk over and I kiss their sweet little faces. I rub their backs. For my girls, I might tickle their feet, and I say, good morning. Ever so gently, ever so lovingly. And that's how I wake them up. Now, here's the thing. I don't wake them up like that because I'm just like, oh, a good mother and so kind and so gentle. No. I wake them up like that because I do not like the sound of an alarm. Like, who wants to wake up to that? It's just anxiety inducing. It starts my day off and now I'm stressed out. I'm overwhelmed. It's just like abrupt and chaotic. You go from like, oh, peace and rest to like, I just can't do it. It's too much. It is too much for me. So I don't use alarms anymore. I just let Jesus wake me up when he's ready to wake me up. Now, if I have somewhere important to be, or I want to wake up super early, I will set an alarm just as a backup. But because God is so loving and so faithful to me, he understands that I'm weird and crazy about the sound of alarms. He always wakes me up beforehand, so I never even have to hear it. I get to wake up to his love, to his peace, to his promises, to what he says I am. I get to wake up to him saying, good morning. I love waking up to Jesus's love. Isn't that so characteristic of him? Like, to wake you up gently, to wake you up lovingly, to wake you up like kindly, because he's a good father. He's a loving father. He's a great parent. Like, yes, ain't no deadbeats. Oh, like, yeah. But then I start to remember that sometimes I don't wake my kids up peacefully. It starts out, good morning. Good morning. It's gonna be a great day. Rise and shine, beautiful. And then I go away and they might fall back to sleep. So now I gotta go back and I gotta wake them up again. And I go away and I come back and they're asleep again, and it's back and forth. Wake up, they're asleep. Wake up, they're asleep. Until I progress from good morning, it's time to get up. Wake up, get up. It just gets increasingly intense. Get up. It's time to get up. Get up. We gotta go. Get up. And I just imagine that that's kind of how Jesus may have sounded when he told the paralyzed man to get up. Now, just go with me, because I know God is always loving. His love endures forever. He's always patient, loving, and kind. But hear me out on this. I feel like he was like, get up. Because here's what happened. There's this dude who's at the pool of Bethesda. And the pool of Bethesda was a pool where all the sick people would go. The people who were blind or lame or crippled or just sick, they would go to this pool. Every so often, the angel would come and stir the water. Once the angel stirred the water, the sick people would go and try to get into the water so that they could be healed. And there's this guy who Jesus comes upon, and he's like, man, I've been here 38 years waiting for my chance to get in the water. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you have been just waiting in a toxic relationship, or toxic relationship after toxic relationship, and this whole cycle of toxicity, and you're just waiting for the right boo to come along and love you the right way. Or maybe you've been waiting in a place of depression and sadness, and you're just waiting for the right amount of money, for the right door to open, the right opportunity, the right turn up night that you just have so much fun, and now you get to post on Instagram and make it look like you're happy. Maybe you're just waiting in that depression, or maybe you are waiting in anger and you're just waiting for somebody to come along and apologize for what they did. But maybe you're like this man and you're waiting. He'd been there for 38 years waiting. Let me tell you what the Bible says. In John chapter 5, verses 6 through 8, the Bible says, "When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, 'Do you want to get well?' 'Sir,' the invalid replied, 'I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me.'" He said, dude, I've been trying to get in, but every time I try, somebody else get ahead of me. So one, he's waiting on somebody else. And two, people keep getting ahead of him. Can you relate to that? Does it look like everybody is getting in front of you? That's how it was with this man. But Jesus didn't take pity on him. In verse 8 it says, "Then Jesus said to him, 'Get up, pick up your mat and walk.'" He's saying, if you are in that toxic relationship, waiting on somebody to love you right, get up. If you are in that depression and that sadness and that hurt, that pain, that misery, Jesus is saying, get up. If you are in that anger and that rage and you just want somebody to pay for what they did, to acknowledge that what they did is wrong, God is saying, get up. He says, get up, pick up your mat and walk. So what is that thing that you're stuck in? God is saying, get up. What is that mat, that thing that you think that you've been resting on, that you've been laying on, that you thought was holding you down, but's really been holding you back? What is that thing? Pick it up and now walk with it. And hear this before we wrap up. In verse 9, the Bible says, "At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked." And hear the thing. He's been waiting at this pool of Bethesda for 38 years. And it is believed by historians that this pool was actually a pool for pagan gods, that Bethesda was a place for pagan gods. So he's waiting to get in this thing, which is like false gods, which is the world, right? Which is sin, which is the way of the world that should not be put before God. So he's waiting at this thing that is not of God, that is of the world. That's what culture says. And he's waiting to get into what culture says is going to heal him. And he's been waiting for it for 38 years. Are we waiting for what culture says is going to heal us? Are we waiting for the house? Are we waiting for the marriage? Are we waiting for the boo? Are we waiting for the baby daddy? Are we waiting for the financial breakthrough? Are we waiting for our own apartment, our own place? Are we waiting for the car? Are we waiting for what the world says that we need? Because that's what the paralyzed man was doing. He was waiting at this pool that was for false gods, apparently, and it never worked. He never got in. He never got the healing. Culture never worked. It took one encounter with Jesus and he was cured. And then Jesus said, pick up your mat and walked. He obeyed him. So sis, what I want to ask you is God telling you? Is Jesus whispering to your heart? Is he tugging on your heart right now saying, get up? And if he is, I encourage you to get up and obey. Get up and walk toward him. Get up out of that thing. Get up out of that situation. Get up out of that lie. Get up out of that thing that says you'll never do, that it'll never happen, that it'll never change, that you're always just going to keep sinning, that you're always just going to keep doing that same thing, that you'll never have more, that you'll never have peace, that you'll never have joy. Get up out of that lie. Get out of it. And in order to get up, sometimes we got to give up. Give up what culture says is going to work. What culture says you need to do. What you've seen everybody else do. Get up out of the situation and give up everybody else's opinions and thoughts and things that they said is going to work for you. Give it up. Let it go. Give up trying to fix it on your own. Give up trying to make it right by yourself. Give it up. Get up. Give it up. Pick up your mat and walk. Sis, walk toward Jesus, walk toward God, walk toward truth, walk toward the light, because that is where you are freed.